A cauldron of ultimate power waits for a group of desperate kids and an ugly king to get their hands on it.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Luis.
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 81.
Did your intro that you wrote
Mhm.
for Luis to read say an ugly king?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He uggo.
He uggo.
He's King Uggo, honestly.
Yeah, he wasn't the prettiest, that's for sure, but
he had
they were
horns.
desperate and ugly. I heard that, the king was desperate and the kids were ugly, which
Desperate children, ugly king. Yeah,
it's interchangeable, actually.
yeah. Desperate king, not that great looking children. This week we are talking about 1985's The Black Cauldron. This is an animated movie. It was directed by Ted Berman and Richard Rich, and written by Lloyd Alexander, David Jonas, and some other people. Starring.
So interesting.
Is there any name in here? Wasn't John Hurt in this
Nobody
movie?
would really recognize
John
him.
Hurt was the Uggo King.
Nah, was he?
Was he not? I read that somewhere, didn't I? And I told you that when we were watching it?
But I don't
Was that
s-
misinformation?
I mean, I'm looking at IMDb and I don't see John Hurt on here.
What?
Oh wait, no, you're right. They didn't put this cast in the right order.
Oh.
Yes, John Hurt as the Horned King. Everyone else as everyone else.
Everybody
I
else
don't
is
know
everybody else.
none of the names of these characters, so I'm going to be calling them boy, girl, wispy thing,
Let me just
pig.
read some names. We got Taran, we got Alonwi, we got Fooder Flam.
Fruiter Flam.
Food for Flam.
Fruiter Flam.
Who's
King
Fruiter,
Idelig.
who's Fruiterflam? The
He's
dog?
The dude. No, the dude that they meet
Or
in the forest.
the pig?
No, the dude.
He's the
old man.
the minstrel guy.
The minstrel.
Yeah. And then
the Merlin dude.
we
Flirtflam.
got, Gurgi. It's me, Gurgi.
That thing.
Hi.
The dog.
You know what I am.
The chipmunk.
I'm an animal
The animal.
of some kind.
What do we say? He sounds like a cross between Jar Jar Binks,
It's
Stitch,
Gurgi.
Donald Duck a little
Donald
bit.
Duck, and what's the thing
Smeagol.
from the Lord of Smeagol?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And he's a combination of all those characters, He's got it all. I'm going to give my first impression. This movie is rough. It's not easy to watch. or at least it wasn't easy to watch. I don't know. I didn't have a good time watching this movie.
Immediately from the very beginning, it didn't take long for the youngling of the story to irk me.
Yeah. Little Taran.
He basically opened his mouth and I was like, nope, this guy's done.
He opened his mouth.
He's out.
He's out.
He's Olaf.
Like it was
He's
being,
Olaf.
he's being mean to the cute little pig. Like all of
Yeah.
a sudden,
There was only one cute character in this whole movie, and this kid was mean to it.
yeah.
And the pig had magical powers.
The
It
pig was cute.
The most important character in the whole movie.
So I guess let's go through our first impressions then, because I think they're all similar. But Luis, let's start with your first impression of this movie.
It was very rough.
Yeah.
Hard to force yourself to pay attention to.
Okay.
Very good. Andre.
I gave mine. I said
Okay, that's true.
It was a rough movie.
All right.
Hard to watch.
My first impression is this is the worst movie we've watched thus far.
Oh, interesting.
Emily.
We didn't officially review Kronk's New Groove, did we?
No, we just watched that for fun. I'm saying
Was
of
it
the-
fun, though? We didn't even
we
finish
didn't
it.
Finish
Man,
it, but
no.
I'm
At least we
saying
finished
of,
this
of the movies that we've reviewed on this podcast, this one is my least favorite.
Oh, yeah, this is worse than bedtime stories,
Yeah.
for real.
Oh, yeah.
I'll watch bedtime
Oh,
stories
easily.
any day.
What is wrong with you guys? Bedtime stories was good.
It was a joke, Lou.
Guys, sarcasm. No.
Luis liked bedtime stories. Give him a break.
I mean,
Okay.
I liked Bedtime Stories too. I mean, a fair amount. It wasn't my favorite movie in the world, but oh boy, I'd watch it 10 times
I'll make
right
a comment.
now if I
I
never had to
told you
watch this
guys.
again.
I told you. Now I bet you want to watch Chicken Little, don't you? Chicken Little would have been better than this.
Nope.
Mm.
Sorry.
Anywho.
You know what I was thinking is we should have watched The Great Mouse Detective.
Okay, first off, this
That's
was your suggestion,
a movie.
Andre.
It was.
That's
He looked
because-
down. He looked down
He was
real
all, "Ooh,
hard.
Cauldron, spooky. It's Halloween.
It's spoopy,
Yeah,
he
I
said.
was thinking.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
Hold
because-
on, let me say my first impression.
Oh, yes, Emily.
It was bad. Okay, moving on.
Let's go with the word spoopy. So,
I hate
Here we
spoopy.
go.
this
I still hate
movie
it.
We all said is spoopy. It's spooky. Okay, I'll say it right for the podcast. It's a spooky movie, and let's just talk about how the intro scene. They're like,
Can I
saying-
read it because I found it?
Do
Oh,
it
yes,
because
please.
it's
Yeah.
absolutely. We all looked at each other and we were like,
Oh,
"Ugh."
yeah, we were like,
Oh,
wow.
Oh,
we
hell. What are
well,
we doing?
we went there. Okay, so I found it on purpose. Okay. The narrator starts, and there's just like a picture of a cauldron on a screen, and it says, "Legend has it, in the mystic land of Peridian."
Predi-
Whoa.
I know
You
that's-
almost
Hang
said
on,
it.
I
wait.
know, I know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Perdane? Perdane.
Prydain.
Okay,
Sure,
I'm pretty sure
Prydain.
that's not how they said it, but whatever.
I'll find it.
It says, "There was once a king so cruel and so evil that even the gods feared him. Since no prison could hold him, he was thrown alive into a crucible of molten iron.
Okay.
There his demonic spirit was captured in the form of a great black cauldron. For uncounted centuries, the black cauldron lay hidden, waiting, while evil men searched for it, knowing whoever possessed it would have the power to resurrect an army of deathless warriors and with them rule the world. Dot, dot, dot.
Dun, dun,
Yeah, yeah.
dun.
And there's like this really spooky scene too, and we all looked at each other like, absolutely not. This is not a children's
Well,
movie.
okay, so I
And I
heard-
even thought to myself, like, do you think we can go back and, like, do a different movie?
Well, as soon as you
We
said
should've- we should've
like,
done it right then.
demonic, and then we're watching it with Adeline, and she's looking at the screen like,
Poor baby.
all scared. I was like, this is not okay.
A frickin'
So
Disney
yeah,
movie.
upon hearing that in the beginning of the movie, I was like, okay, wow, that's a lot.
We're on a different level here.
It was a lot to
This
do
is
with.
like the darkest Disney movie for
And
sure.
then the rest of the movie was like, wow, this is a journey that we're going on. It's an
Yeah, what did you
interesting
say? It's like Lord of the
journey.
Rings.
Yeah, so let's preface. I'm going to give you, like, my idea of how I just feel this movie. Number one, it is the first animated PG movie in the
Mhm.
Disney repertoire.
Yes.
Rightfully so.
They said
They're
demonic.
yeah, they're using some imagery here.
Everything before this was rated G, and then this movie came out in the MPAA, which, by the way, at this time, the MPAA, they only had 3 ratings. It was G, PG, and R. So they were
Well,
like,
they definitely
this
was
is not
PG
G.
'cause there
This
was, like,
ain't
a
no
half
G.
naked girl in his movie.
Right?
oh,
This
I don't remember that. Where was she?
Yeah, no. In the bar
It was
scene,
there, yeah.
in the
Oh.
bar scene,
Oh, okay.
there were some things flying, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Up top.
I'm going to rewind that part.
Anywho, so preface that it's like they just take it to a new level. This movie is based on books, very much so in the Lord of the Rings type category, where
Yes.
they're trying to put a movie together out of, I think, 3 different books.
So
am I right?
It's a set of 5 books.
Okay, 5.
What they ended up doing for this script was parsing through the first 2 books.
Okay.
And squishing them together. And making
So
this movie.
in doing that, it feels like that.
Yes.
Like, it feels like you should know more than you know because
Oof.
maybe you wrote the book, not wrote the book, maybe you read the book,
Yeah.
and so you should already be knowledgeable about what's happening, because when we were watching it, we all kind of kept looking at each other like,
They don't
whoa.
explain anything.
Yes, it felt like the story was going so fast, but also moving very slow at the same time.
Yes.
So in that way, it gives me like a Lord of the Rings vibe because it's in the medievalish times, but also introducing all these characters that you should have some kind of knowledge about, and we obviously don't.
These are definitely names that you're supposed to read and not hear out loud.
Yeah, because their accents are so thick, I couldn't understand like what they were calling them for most of the
Yeah,
movie.
that's why I think why we don't know the names. Like, it wasn't just like Elowin; it was like and okay,
Why
there
are
was-
there so many vowels and Y's?
there are a lot of E's in that name.
in this
Okay,
name? Holy moly. The author of the books, his name is Lloyd Alexander. The books are called The Chronicles of Prydian or whatever.
however
Prydain,
you say it.
However you say it. he saw the movie. You know, he was somewhat involved with the process of making it, but he said about the movie, he said, first, I have to say there is no resemblance between the movie and the book. Having said that, the movie in itself, purely as a movie, I found to be very enjoyable. I had fun watching it. What I would hope is that anyone who sees the movie would certainly enjoy it, but I'd also hope that they'd actually read the book. The book is quite different. It's very powerful, very moving story, and I think people would find a lot more depth in the book.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Well,
that
that's
was his
fine.
opinion.
I'm happy you found that, because I would not find that kind of depth in this story in the way that I would hope. Like, when you watch a movie, I hope you care about the protagonist.
Yeah.
You dislike the antagonist.
Sure.
And you care what happens to the characters in between.
And you want to see how they're going to get through this situation.
Yeah. I didn't particularly care about anyone but the pig.
Pig was cool.
Yeah, the pig was cute. That was about it.
Pig
Or
had
even
the power of sight.
the
Same
way
here.
that they
I agree.
introduced the characters.
Do you agree, Lou? With the
Yep.
you didn't care about like the main character at all?
I cared more about the evil.
The king?
Yes.
The Horned King?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, how is he going to get his hands on this cauldron?
I know. Like, what are you going to do with the cauldron once you get it, bro?
Yeah,
This
man,
is
what
so
you gonna
crazy. I shouldn't want him to raise an army of undead.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
But also, like, the only part of the world that we saw was Taran's little farm in the beginning. And it's like, okay, yeah, this can get destroyed. I'm really... I don't have
it's
a huge
literally
problem
like
with
his
that.
farm and then like the evil, maleficent dwelling of the king.
It's like, hey, this place is sunshiny. How about we spend the rest of the movie in the dark forests of the rest of the world and try to save that?
So can I give like a super fast plot summary until I stop remembering?
Sure.
Because
I'll read along in the Wikipedia article.
Thanks. So pretty much, and trust I'm skipping over stuff.
Yes.
We start with that Black Cauldron scene, so it sets this super dark tone, and then you move immediately into this sunny farm scene where you see a gentleman talking to a kid, obviously like caretaker and like apprentice type.
He is the assistant pig keeper.
There you go. And you're like, what in the world does that even mean? And the kid has to take care of, or assistant to take care of, this pig.
I
And
mean,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, but like, if I were the assistant pig keeper, I'd be a little bit saucy too.
Yeah, man.
You know, but
Well, and especially
out here
because he doesn't
working.
know why he's the assistant
yeah.
pig taker.
Trying to get at this promotion.
and
to
here's
be-
me trying to,
to be
you
head
know,
pig keeper.
I'm the one defending the one kid who irks me. But it's just by the title alone, I'd understand why it'd be a bit irksome.
Yeah.
But at the same time, does he make it known he's irksome because that title, or
I think so. Because he wants to go off and be a knight. He wants to
be
fight
a
in the war.
warrior.
So it's not. I don't know. Never mind.
No, he
He's
wants
irksome.
to. He wants.
stinks. I like the pig.
He wants to have more through life than just being a pig caretaker.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that the pig is an oracle.
Right.
Which,
He's already a warrior, technically.
yes,
He's been
technically, bro,
keeping
you.
this pig safe for years.
Yeah, you're taking care of the only thing that's keeping the Horned King away from the Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't know all of that. He doesn't even know, I think, that there is a Horned King. I think he just is very, like,
Right.
he just knows what's on his farm.
Like, what does this king rule over? Is he ruling over anything except for all this nastiness in the
Dark
forest or whatever?
Dominion.
Like, what's his rep, man?
We know nothing about him, which I wish, like, I knew, like, his following or what had been happening so that
Yeah.
we could have some kind of, like, resistance.
Right.
But really, it just seems like he's chilling on his mountaintop. But anywho, so the idea is that the big pig caretaker uses the pig to see the future or a vision, and he finds out very quickly that the Horned King knows that the pig is the oracle, or he finds out through that, and that now he has to go keep it safe, right?
Yes. So the pig's name is Henwin.
Henwin.
And
Henwin.
the old man's dude name is Dalbin. And Dalbin, he just has an inkling that the Horned King knows about the pig. He's like, I don't know what's come over me, but yeah, we gotta get this pig out of here.
So it's literally the only job this kid has for the rest of the movie is to keep the pig away from the Horned King.
Yes.
And immediately
What does the little irksome child do?
loses the pig.
He loses the pig so fast.
He loses it in
It's-
the next scene to flying vulture dragon things.
He's like, come on, pig, let's go to the cabin that's safe in the woods or whatever.
That is not safe.
And then, oh man, he just walks. He takes the worst path on earth to get to this cabin, I guess, because there's immediate danger and like huge danger, like big dragon, scary, scaly stuff that's flying out of nowhere that Dalbin did not warn him about at all.
Well, and that's my question. Like, is his farm the only safe farm? Is this like a scary place everywhere?
Right.
Like,
Is there
I
no
want to
other place he could
know.
have gone?
Because I could have gotten just a little bit of like, the darkness had spread over the land and he
Sure.
was encroaching on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming
Olivia, would you
this
like to
way.
be a part of this podcast?
She's like, yeah, I got opinions about Dalbin.
Yeah. Oh, you quiet down when I gave you the microphone. I see
Nah,
that.
she agrees with me. She's trying to just say that the kid's irksome.
Yes, the kid is irksome. You're right. Anywho, so kid loses the pig. Pig is taken by these things immediately, and the kid is like, whoa, I need to get that pig back. So he starts gallivanting through the forest in the way that the dragons went, and he finds this furball thing.
It's me, Gurgi.
Gurgi.
You sound exactly like
You sound
it.
exactly like him, and it's
What's
disturbing.
Is it a him? Is it a her?
You kind
We
of
don't
sound like
know.
Stitch now, too, but
It's Gurgi.
you guys.
Stitch too. Yeah.
We, the whole time, we're like, no, he's more of a dog. No, he's more of a gopher. No, he's more of a... Like, we went on and on and on, and we have no idea.
It
And
doesn't say right here.
Exactly.
No
I
idea.
looked up on every article I could find. I looked up on the Disney Wiki. I looked up on the actual thing. I looked up on IMDb. I looked up on everything. And it literally says creature. It does not have
it
a...
says creature on everything.
yeah, there's
Creature.
no, like, description
They
of
might
what
as
he
well
is.
call it creature.
Gurgi is one of a kind.
Yeah, there ain't nothing like me
Okay,
except
and
me.
then this is another sidetrack story about this.
Go
what's
ahead,
his
Lou. I
name?
know you want to
Gurgi?
say it.
Gurgi.
Say it. Gurgi.
He's the love child of Dobby and that weird
Dobby.
thing from the Neverending Story. That big.
Atreyu? No, Atreyu is not his name.
Atreyu.
Um,
I don't remember what. I haven't.
That
seen
flying
yeah,
dog.
the
Yeah,
flying
the
dog.
dog. Okay.
Kinda. That works
Flying
too.
dog.
Sure. Yeah.
Dying.
Yeah,
Ain't
yeah,
nothing
fair.
like me except
Except
me.
So
Go
my
ahead.
mom has this giant.
Don't tell me she likes this movie.
No, she doesn't like the movie. I don't
know.
think. Not that
I
we
thought
know
you were
of.
gonna say she had like a.
My mom has this giant
Pictures.
art thing in her house that she got from Disney World like multiple years ago.
It's a large
like,
print.
It's like a large limited edition thing, and it has like just characters. It starts with Snow White, and it goes all the way to like the most recent character, which was like early 2000s, I think, when she bought it.
Yeah.
It's just like this mashup of characters, and this. What's his name?
Gurgi?
Gurgi.
Gurgi's in it, and Andre and I were looking the other day, and I was like,
Before we saw the movie, we were
before
like,
we saw the movie, and that's why we had the idea to watch the movie, because I was like, what is that thing? Like, I knew every character on there except for that one, and then we looked it up and found out it was Gurgi, and then we were like, oh,
I was
we
like,
should
is
watch
this one of the
movie.
random strays from Oliver and Company? Or
I
something?
know.
What
We
is
thought
this
it was.
thing?
I thought
Seriously.
it was like a dog from Oliver and Company.
Or maybe the tramp's like annoying
Yeah,
cousin.
his other homies or whatever.
His annoying cousin that he's
They-
always trying to ditch.
I don't know what this thing is, but it's definitely a street dog. Like, it's a street creature. This is not something that has been raised in a home.
So he finds Gurgi, and my remembrance of this scene is legitimately so. Don't go that way. I have to go that way. Don't go that way. Can I steal your food? No, you can't steal my food.
Yeah.
Well then I'll follow you to get there. No, I'm not coming with you. Okay, I'm leaving.
Literally the most ridiculous.
Like it was like 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't that long.
I wish the scene was as short as you had just described.
Right? It was like a really awful interchange between these two characters, like, and it was obviously just meant to introduce him,
Yeah.
but it had no substance whatsoever, and all we learned was that he wanted to steal his food. Like he's kind of like a trickster kind of a character,
Yeah.
but Taran, whatever his name is
Taran.
like, you don't care about our friendship. You don't want to go in that horned castle with me. And
Wait, didn't
and-
they just meet?
yes, and
Yeah, they
Gurgi's
just
like,
met.
no, I don't. So then
Man, no
he
loyalty.
dips.
So it's the opposite of that. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy.
Yeah, he's like, call me later, bro. For sure. It
Don't
was
call me
done.
later.
It was done.
We're
So
done.
then
So they split
you li-
ways.
they
right?
literally split ways right there.
It's like, okay, bye, Gurgi.
Yeah, Gurgi said no more.
Late.
And the kid sneaks into the castle to find the pig, in which we find ourselves in the most inappropriate for a Disney movie. I'm not saying in general this would be inappropriate, but in a Disney movie, we should not be seeing this type of bar brothel-y scene.
It was
We all looked at the screen like, what?
Like, when I think bar scene, really, there's only one other movie, right, that comes to mind, like Beauty and the Beast. I can't think of any other bar scenes.
Sure.
What about the
But none that are
the duckling, ugly duckling?
Yeah,
Snuggly
Entangled.
duckling.
Yeah, but
Oh.
yeah, but they're more like fun than like.
Yeah, that is you're
That's a
right.
bar
That is
scene.
a
True.
bar.
And when they first show that bar Entangled, it's like, oh man, these are some rough dudes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think what bothers me about this one was like the sexualized part of it. There were some things moving around. Okay, that's just the nicest
There
way
was
to put
some
it.
Jiggling happening.
And it was just like, why is this happening underneath like the Eye of Sauron? Like the worst possible like horned king, and there's like a bar in the middle? That's just, it seemed very weird to me.
The
It
king's
didn't
like,
make any sense.
my boys, I got a party, you know, so I gotta
Gotta
hook them up
keep
with
'em
the
happy.
Yeah, I gotta keep the bar up, keep up morale, you know, bring in some girls.
What is this? Like
Bring in the
a,
girls.
it's like a biker club. Like, what
Yeah.
is this? Fucking Sons of Anarchy. Anywho, so
You got henchmen got a hench, you know. Like, you gotta
They got a hinge and they got to be men while they're doing it.
exactly. So you gotta throw up a bar.
apparently
Man got a hint.
henchman got a hinge. That's the hashtag for this episode.
Mhm.
So Taran pops in, pretty much finds the pig. The gremlin. There's a gremlin henchman.
Yeah.
Is it a gremlin?
I
A
don't-
goblin.
Yeah,
A goblin.
He's a goblin type dude. What's his name? I don't know.
Gobby.
Gobby.
Gobby pulls in the pig and is
Creeper.
better creeper. I like it.
Yeah.
Creeper's like, "Hey, Horned King, got the pig for you," and Taran literally jumps in and is like, "No, you shan't have my pig."
It's my pig.
And he gets in the middle of the pig telling him how to get the Black Cauldron, and Taran and him escape. Or try to escape.
Well, yeah, I think
They
Taran gets
don't
arrested,
succeed.
but
yeah, they get trapped. And
the
they put
pig
them in
Right, but
escapes.
right, so they're trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
escape.
yeah.
Yes.
They're like running, and he throws the pig over the side of the wall of the castle, falls into
My
a moat,
pig.
which is good for the pig, I guess. But Taran gets captured and put into a jail cell,
Dungeon.
in which the next scene is so confusing to me. It's like it's a joke. He's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
He's all sorry for himself.
Oh,
There's like
no.
rats scuttling
I
and
lost
things.
my pig.
I lost my pig and I'm in jail, and all I wanted to do was be a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And a trapdoor opens in his cell, and Aurora
Girl
pretty much
comes out. Yeah,
pops
she does look
in.
like Aurora.
pops in with a wisp
Ellen Weed.
and
Right.
literally is like, "So, what are you doing in here?
What's up, dude?
Did you get trapped? Are you do you need to escape? You want to leave? Oh,
No.
Yeah.
well, you're not really gonna help me at all, but you can just come with me."
Yeah. Let's roll, dude.
It's ridiculous.
You're my new best friend.
What?
And it's like, okay, who is who?
Now that is a hey, I just met you. Do you want to leave this castle?
Yeah, she introduces herself
Trying
as
to
a
go.
princess, and then he's like, okay.
She was
All right,
like, "Hello,
cool.
my name's Coke."
So the reason that she looks like Sleeping Beauty is because they hired on some of the animators from Sleeping Beauty. Like they pulled
Okay.
back, like Sleeping Beauty came out like 15 years before this, but they pulled in some old dudes. They're like, hey, bros, you got to come back to design our character models.
It's like, hey, bros, can copy your homework?
Yeah.
Sure, copy it. Just change it up so it doesn't look the same.
Exactly. So they
No,
they,
we
that
said
makes
we
so
could
they put
tell.
a part in her hair, and and that's about it. Yeah, they basically just drew Sleeping Beauty again, and I think they wanted to evoke that style.
Easy money.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, well, none of the rest of the movie had that style, but she
No.
definitely did. But the intro, okay, so apparently she was, this is why I don't get it. She was taken to the castle for the same reason that Henwin, the pig, and Taran were there, is because he thought that her magical wisp thing would help him being the Horned King,
Yes.
would help him find the Black Cauldron.
Mhm.
So she essentially is a prisoner too.
Yeah, along with
But-
her wisp.
With her wisp, why is she walking around the castle?
Yeah, how did she get like?
How did she
free
get
reign?
out?
They don't say like why she's captured. She's just captured too, but
Yeah.
she can escape easily.
She's
Yeah.
So
definitely
doesn't
like.
she also say she's like kind of magical or no?
The wisp
I mean,
is
she's got the
magic,
yeah,
but
she's got the
like
wisp.
Well, why does she have the wisp?
it I don't know. Do
Hey, she's a
princesses have
princess,
wisps?
That reminds me of Child of Light.
Oh, the
It
video
kind of
game?
was Child of Lightish.
Yeah.
I never played
She
that
was.
game.
It was very cute.
It was awesome.
It was like
a
on
good
the
game.
gold Xbox membership maybe 2 or 3 years ago when
free.
we played it.
Yeah.
It was really nice,
But she reminds me exactly of her.
but more annoying.
Does she have a wisp?
No, but
She
annoying
had a
because
wisp.
the other one was not annoying.
You played as the wisp and as her. And the wisp had like special powers to
Yeah.
like
Scout
fly
ahead
and stuff. And
That's
yeah.
cool. I like
Anywho, so they literally now take free reign of this castle,
Mhm.
which is like a demon dungeon.
that. Yeah, they just
and-
start roaming around.
They roam until they find like the catacombs
Yes.
Mhm.
underneath the castle, in which there is a old king, which makes me think this used to be like a good castle.
Right. This used to be like a nice castle that got run down.
Right.
Now,
And
now
they-
Uggo King is taking control.
Uggo King.
Yeah. um,
And the king that's buried there had a sword, and he wanted to be a knight, so he like picks it up and he gets all excited, and they figure out very quickly that it's a magical sword.
yes.
So now he has magic sword.
Magic sword, magic pig. Oh wait, no magic pig. Magic pig is gone at this particular moment.
Yeah, pig's gone.
And she has magic wisp,
Yeah.
and they literally knock through the wall,
Mhm.
doing what? I don't remember. But they find another jail cell where Minstrel comes in, my favorite character in this movie.
Mr. Fluter Flam.
He's still so random though.
Fluter Flagon Flimmin Flagon.
Hey, just in case you didn't watch this movie,
Nicholas Flem.
This name is spelled
Nicholas Flamel.
Flewddur.
Nicholas
Jeez.
Flem.
Flirter. Oh, and his last name is Flam, which is Fflam.
Nicholas Flem.
Nicholas
You're trying to say Flamel.
No,
Okay, I don't
That's
know.
exactly what I'm saying. Nicholas Flem.
Flam.
He's old enough. Why not?
How many F's are in that name?
Well, there's 2 F's in the first name and 2 F's in the last name. So 4 F's. A total of 4 F's for Flirter Flam.
Flugger the herd flame.
I can't.
Man.
So this character is my favorite because he reminds me exactly of the butler from the Aristocats,
Yes.
but much more sing-songy.
That's another thing about this movie is that it's definitely pulling in animation from other Disney movies.
Oh, yeah.
There's Sleeping Beauty in here. There's Aristocats. There's Jungle Book. There's Robin Hood. It's all in there. All of the dancing and the moving around and all the
Yeah, it
animation is
feels
inside.
like you're
It's like
watching
they
an
didn't try very
amalgamation.
hard.
Yes.
You know, that makes it feel like they didn't try to make a new movie. Like they were like, we can just put this together really quickly.
Which is
and-
interesting because this movie took a long time to make. They acquired the rights to these books in 1971, and this movie didn't come out until 1985. And originally it was slated to come out in like 1980 or something like that, but it got pushed back, and then by the time that it was actually being made and ready to put out, it got pushed back again because they had to cut stuff out of it and stuff like that. So they put in a lot of work, I guess, but
Well, and we read, too, that this was one of the first movies that used CGI.
yes, that's true.
And it's funny because you can tell that so when we were watching this movie, there were parts where it was like the animation's not that bad, right? Because of the time period or whatever. But then
Yeah.
you would be like, "Oh, that's really bad." But then you would see like some type of CGI moving over the top of like the painted background.
Yeah.
So it was just like
It
too
was
much.
confusing.
So they did a lot of animation work in this movie. I say work, meaning they did a lot of stuff. So this is the first Disney movie to use computer animation at all. They also developed a new type of animation called ATP or something like that, which
Neither here nor
uses,
there.
Yeah,
at this
uses
point.
animation mumbo jumbo. But so they developed that won them an Oscar for developing that. I think they were using computers. They were using the ATP. But then they were also, I think this was also the last movie to use their multiple plane camera thing that we discussed in like Pinocchio, where it like zooms in on stuff across several planes and they
Yes.
can move stuff in and out.
Wait a minute.
The multiplane.
You
Yes,
guys
the
care to
multiplane
tell
camera.
me that this movie won an Oscar faster than Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely,
Oh, jeez.
way faster. A technical Oscar, but an Oscar nonetheless.
Still an Oscar.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mary Angela's in her grave right now.
Poor
but,
listener, Mary Angela.
but guys, help me out here.
That's my best maniacal.
Are we just getting too?
Luis is gonna call it a pity Oscar.
I guess no. Leo's was definitely a pity Oscar. Anyways,
I was talking about this.
are we just like too much into the future in terms? Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, that's high tech animation and everything like that, but I'm looking at that and it's the exact same thing as Sleeping Beauty.
Right. Yeah. So I would
not much.
I would
later.
say that they're doing their best to be innovators for this movie, but at the same time, I think a lot of it was built on like not necessarily laziness, but like pulling other stuff in to help develop this.
Well, and that's the hard part is that, like, I feel like if you're going to develop something brand new for a movie and you're going to, like, try to hit it hard with something new, don't go back and, like, shortchange something else.
Yeah.
Because then the end product doesn't make you feel, or, okay, maybe it made them feel better, but it didn't make me feel any better.
Right.
I look at it and I'm like, no, this is a, you know, XYZ of all these other movies.
This is one of Disney's biggest flops. Like,
No doubt.
It's
in
their biggest
history.
flop.
It almost killed their entire animation department. This is
Yes.
the last movie that was made in their original animation studio that they had in Burbank. Or
I
whatever.
read multiple articles that say it almost put them into bankruptcy, like 100%.
If The Little Mermaid hadn't crushed 4 years after this came out, they would have been done. We wouldn't have had any of our Renaissance movies, basically.
Well, Ariel sparked the Disney Renaissance.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but you know what also sparked the Disney Renaissance? The death of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like
The
we,
death of the
I
Horned
we
King.
have to do something different.
I can't
Hey.
wait to see what this has on Rotten Tomatoes.
From
The Horned King said down.
From the ashes, a phoenix will arise.
That's right.
And that's why she has red hair, y'all.
Caca!
Speaking of phoenixes, Harry Potter. Anyways.
Oh, okay. Thought you really had something to go off of there.
No,
Nope.
but I do like that Ariel has red hair because that is phoenixy.
Yeah.
Harry, did you put your name in a cauldron of fire?
Okay. Well, you did say Cauldron of Fire, but I will allow it since we're doing the
We're
Black
doing
Cauldron.
Cauldron. Let's turn this.
I meant to say the Black Cauldron. Sorry, guys.
Harry, did you put your name in the... Ah, I can't even do it.
Yeah.
You know what
Harry,
I
did you
need
put
to
your name in
know,
the Black
too?
Cauldron?
Like, did anybody give this movie a good review?
Hold on, we're not done.
I know.
Because we're getting to the part
Ditsky.
where I
Reviews are at the
literally
end.
I
don't
know.
remember. Okay?
I
Like,
don't
I
remember
was
either.
doing my notes,
Mm-hmm.
and I literally was just like, I don't know. what
Hold on.
happened after
So we left off with the minstrel.
The
yes.
minstrel.
So we
The
get
the,
to
the minstrel.
It's with an I.
Yes.
Okay.
Minstrel.
So I don't remember where they find the. How do they get? Oh, they're
They're-
frolicking through the forest.
Hold on.
No,
they
no,
have
they're
to get out
making
of
their
the
way through the
castle.
castle, and then they find the minstrel.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
find
they
Fleur
get
de
out of
France.
the castle. They find that. Well, he's in the castle. They get out of the castle and they're in the forest. They're frolicking. They're frolicking in the forest, and then they see a magical pool of water, and they fall inside it, and they go down, and there's a bunch of fairies. You remember that?
I thought they were
Yes.
sea monkeys.
No, they were fairies.
Michelle described that pretty perfectly according to this Wikipedia article.
You don't remember any of the movie, but you remember that part? I
Because
do
it
not
was
remember
weird.
that.
So yes,
I
after
was like, did anybody else think that was weird that they
after
went
they
in a
escape-
pool of water?
Oh, yeah, but I remember this because they go through the water and then they can breathe and there's the
Yeah.
water's above them,
Yeah,
but
and then
they're
there's
underneath.
fairies.
Mullet.
I remember that now.
And I was like,
And they look
eh.
like Smurfs.
Yeah, they look like
Yes.
Smurfs.
So after they
And
escape from
they
the castle,
talk like
Gurgi's back.
babies, remember?
Oh, don't do that.
They're called the Fair Folk.
The fair folk, you know, they're fairies.
So this is part of the movie that got cut. So okay, let me just explain.
Didn't
this a
get
little
cut
bit.
enough.
They had a test they had a test screening for this movie
Not cut enough.
in 1984. Okay, there was a test screening, and the movie was slated to come out in like
And people were like, boo.
in December, and it was terrifying. Like the movie was so scary that kids were running out of the theater. Like they were
Dude,
getting
Adeline was
out of there.
so concerned.
And I
too.
completely
believe
believe that
it.
because while we were watching, we were like, "Goodness gracious, why is skin peeling off
You
of
want to know?
skeleton
You
bones
want to
and
know
stuff
how
like that?"
scary this movie was? Adeline was so scared and going, oh no! That Emily said, "Can you turn on the light?" And we turned on the light, and Adeline's like, "Thank you, lights.
Thank you,
Thank
lights.
you, lights. Thank you,
did.
lights.
She also thanked Alexa because you asked
Yeah.
Alexa to do it.
Thank you, lights.
Thank you, Alexa.
That's how scary
Alexa.
this movie was.
So yeah, so it was crazy terrifying, and Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was the head of Disney at the time, or not the head of Disney, but he was the head of like animation or whatever. He was like, "We need to cut out some of the scary stuff because this movie is not going to play." And this was at a
So
time.
the fairies were scary.
This is at a time when like editing animated movies didn't work like that. You had to animate you had to edit before you animate it. So when you're doing like storyboards, that's when you're pulling stuff off and taking stuff out. But by this point, they had animated the entire movie. So so the editors were like, "Nah, we ain't editing this down. This is done." So Jeffrey Katzenberg went into the editing bay and was editing the movie by himself. He was like, "I'm gonna do it. Somebody's got to get this done." So he was making cuts and stuff like that. And Will Eisner had to come in and be like, "Dude, you need to stop. We need to chill out." But they compromised. They compromised, and they ended up editing out 12 minutes of the movie. So there was a large chunk of like the fair folk stuff where they had like explained where they came from and how their magic worked and stuff like that. And then also a bunch of just truly terrifying nonsense that was also in the movie. From I think part of the bar scene, and I think stuff towards the end of the movie.
Oh my gosh!
And like we couldn't tell because we hadn't seen it, but apparently it messes stuff up with like the soundtrack and stuff like that because of the way that they edited it. Because like they couldn't like re-record the music over stuff. So yeah,
weird.
Mm-hmm.
How interesting.
Yeah. And I believe the deleted scenes are available on YouTube, but I haven't not watched it.
Well, here's the deal. That makes more okay. So, and I keep taking it with a grain of salt that because this is based on a book and it is an amalgamation, that's why I don't understand all of the backstory.
Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense about the fair folk people because it literally
we were like, what?
Makes no sense why they found these random
and
fairies.
why was the pig there?
Yeah, the pig was with the fairies.
Pig was just hanging out with the fairies. Because
we were like, okay, the
I don't
pig's
know why.
there? Pig got lost in the forest somehow. I don't know. But then he was there with the fairies. And then all they did was ask the fairies, like, where the cauldron's at. And then the one fairy was like, I'll show you.
Oh,
and he, like, took them up, like,
so
zapped them up.
I could be wrong, but I think, like, in the conversation, they said something like, my whole job is to keep this pig safe. And they're like, no, you should just go. You have that sword now.
Mm-hmm.
You should go and destroy the cauldron so that you can, like, then the pig won't matter.
Right.
Pretty much, like, go, if you destroy it, then
They're like, you don't need to keep that pig safe.
whatevs.
You can make that pig bacon right now, as far as we're concerned. Just go destroy the cauldron.
No, that thing was cute.
The pig was
It
cute.
was really cute.
Yeah.
Not making
It
none
had
bacon.
eyelashes.
Fairies are mean.
It had
It
my
was very
eyelashes.
It had my eyelashes. Oh. Yes, Lou. He's batting his eyes at me. You're right.
I've never heard Louise compare his eyelashes to anything, let alone a pig's
Jeez, this
eyelashes.
movie was so dry. Gosh, I gotta bring stuff out of the Hulu.
Out of the Hulu.
So, this fairy thing zaps them out of this magical water pool, and how do they end up with these witch things?
So then,
Because that's where I get really confused. I remember them being with fairies, and then they were with three witches.
They're with the fairies, and then the fairies are like, "We'll show you the way to where the cauldron is, I guess." And then they go to like an old cabin in the woods, which I don't know if this is the original cabin intended for the pig or if this is an alternate cabin. I assume,
right?
I assume an alternate cabin because, like, why would the dude tell him to go exactly where the cauldron was if he was afraid that the Horn King was going to show up there?
And wouldn't you like bury the cauldron or something?
my goodness.
Anywho, go ahead.
Anyway, so they go to this house. They walk in. There's rats everywhere. It's nasty. It's disgusting. And then they discover in like the basement or in the back room or whatever, there's just like a room filled with black cauldrons. And they're like, wow, we hit the jackpot. We got all the cauldrons. We did it.
Well, and the best part is they're all like again, Harry Potter references. I'm so sorry, but like it literally looked like your stock size black cauldron.
Yes.
Like that's obviously not
an
the black cauldron.
11-inch pewter cauldron.
Obviously not what you're looking for, Harry. Like
Yeah. This is not the one.
we're trying to look for a big old black cauldron with
Yes.
like
This one's
some
got-
dude's face on
This
it.
one's got potion stains on it. We don't want none of this. We want the black cauldron. It's famous. So they go into this place.
Stupid.
And there's three witches. They
yes.
pop up. One looks like Madame Mim.
Does it have their names?
They're witches.
Ordu,
I'm pretty sure only one of them had a name.
Ordu.
Orgok, and Orwin.
Ordu.
Never mind, they all have
Orwin.
names.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Duke Gakwin.
Anyways, they were just there and they were creepy.
So am I assuming, because I honestly don't know that this was their house and they were like cauldron keepers?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Were they
keepers
the
of
keeper of the original cauldron, or were they trying to like
They
throw
had
people
the
off
cauldron,
this?
Yeah.
They have it.
They
They're
had
in
it.
the marshes
So-
of Morva.
So they asked
Mordor.
the what's the main character's name again?
Taran?
Taran.
Taran.
They asked, and Elwyn, they asked for the Black Cauldron, and they were saying, like, we haven't been asked for that cauldron in years and years and years and years. And they were like, okay, well, we want it. And I don't really remember, like, what the contingency was.
It was for the sword.
Oh, the
They
sword.
said, we'll
they
give
had
you
to
the
trade
cauldron
the sword
as
for
long
the
as you give us the sword.
And they did it.
They did
And
it.
so the main witch was thinking to herself, right? Am I correct? That, like, if we give them the cauldron and they give me the sword, then they can't do anything with the cauldron because they want to destroy it.
Right.
So they're not going to be able to, like, they're not going to use it for, like, killing people and raising an undead army. So then I'll have the sword, and then they won't be able to use the cauldron, and I'll get the cauldron back and have the sword.
So
then I win.
It was weird.
Ta-da.
And then when they gave them the cauldron, they just disappeared, and then they were like in the sky, in the clouds, like yelling at them, like. I remember that.
Yes, I remember that too.
Was super weird.
And I was expecting the cauldron to be bigger. Like, I don't mean to be.
Yeah.
I don't remember how.
It just like popped out of the ground, didn't it?
Yeah.
It
popped out.
sprouted
I
out
think
of the down like
I think it
daisies.
was pretty big though, because like you have to like go inside of it to enact its
Destroy
magic
it.
or
To
whatever.
Sacrifice your
Let's
damn
see,
self.
It says before vanishing, the witches reveal that the cauldron is indestructible and that its power can only be broken by someone who climbs in under his own free will, which will kill him. So, pony up, dude.
Anyways, I don't remember how the evil guy showed up when they had the cauldron.
Like who? Like, so the gods turned him into this thing, and they're like, but someone innocent also has to kill themselves.
Like what in the world? Like we gotta contain this bad dude. We got to. And also maybe the only way to get it out is for some like a 12-year-old to hop into a cauldron.
That's a bad curse. It's a terrible curse.
Okay, so Taran is thinking that he will be able to destroy the cauldron. He's like, all right, I guess I'm going to do it. I'll hop in there. It'll be me. Nobody jump in right now. I'm going to do it. I swear.
Nobody asked you to be a hero, Taran.
Well, he's been trying to be a hero this entire time, I guess.
Because, saving Oracle Pig isn't good enough.
Yeah, with his sword and whatnot.
He didn't do good.
So then how does because I remember that. I remember it popping up. Yeah, it pops up out of the ground like a daisy.
Just pops up too.
Yes.
No, but the whole next scene happens back inside that castle. So how does everything get transported back over there?
So he's preparing
magic.
He's preparing to jump into the cauldron, and then
because apparently you can't just jump in.
yeah,
Did
and
those
then
dragon things keep up?
Ilanwi comes up and she's like, "Oh my God, you're so brave!" And she like gives
Did
him
you say Imani?
Ilanwi.
Who?
Ilanwi.
Ellenwy.
Oh, Briar Rose.
Yes.
I thought you said Imani.
Aurora.
And I'm like, what?
Comes up.
That's Andre's sister's name. I was very confused.
She kisses Taran. She's like, "This is for good luck" or whatever. And then
they've hated on each other the entire movie, and all of a sudden,
she
kisses
where
him.
Did this relationship come from? So as right as they're kissing, as soon as they finish kissing, it's like boom! All the Horn King soldiers are there. They're like out here, like, hey.
They're like, ooh, did we feel some pheromones?
We heard y'all got a cauldron. We see right there. So they just grab everybody. They're like, you're coming with us. They grab the kids. They grab the cauldron. They take them all back to
grab
the castle.
Kids, grab your cauldron.
And then the Horn King takes the skeleton carcass and puts it in the cauldron and says some kind of spell.
Oh, that's a very
And
dark
then
magic moment.
Yeah.
This was very
It was
nasty.
disturbing.
Andre was like, there's some Voldemort stuff going on
Yeah,
right now.
man.
He's like reresurrecting his
The black magic that only Aslan knew.
And then
'cause
there
it
was
That's
like
right,
this
yes.
this green
I was there when
mist
it was
just
written.
everywhere, and those zombies.
I wish you could
Those
see
zombies.
Michelle. She's resurrecting the carcass eye
Zombies.
with one arm. Pointed daggers of skeletal
Yeah.
remains.
Zombies.
And FYI, these were very scary zombies, and the Horn King was, I want to say he was undead because his face was not like a face.
He
It was
a
like,
skeleton too.
yeah, it was like
It
half
reminded
fleshy.
me of Astur from Thor.
Who?
Who?
Astur.
The Horned King thinks he's
Who?
the Pumpkin King.
The
but
guy
he's
at the beginning of Ragnarok?
Surtur? Surtur.
Surtur.
Surtur. There you go, that guy.
Yeah.
Surtur.
Yeah, like
Thor.
a demon.
It reminded
honestly,
me
the
of him
Horned
a
King
lot.
is probably like a demon of some sort.
I mean, maybe like do you know about Doctor Doom? Dr. Doom is like a bad guy from the Fantastic Four, and he just has like a terribly disfigured face, so he wears like an iron mask.
So
over
he's
his
like
face.
the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, he's like the
He
Phantom.
could be a
or
Cubone.
like the man in the iron
He
mask
could be
or
a
whatever.
Cubone.
Yeah, or like a Cubone.
That could be his father's skull.
He's
that
just
that
crying
he's just
into it all
wearing
the
on his
time.
face. Yeah, I assume he's just an ugly dude. This is why he's so evil. He's like, everybody call me ugly my whole life. I'm getting back at everybody by raising the dead.
Anyways, the
I want
point
to know
is,
why he's so evil. I need some evil backstory.
It's just an ugly man.
Oh, poor baby.
your baby did a little sneezes.
My baby sneeze coughed, and now everyone had to stop and look at her.
So the Horned King has succeeded. He has raised his undead army. He is ready to set them loose upon the world. But the heroes are here. Taran, who's doing nothing. Alonwi, who's doing nothing. Flatterflurm, who's also doing nothing. They're all doing nothing. But
Is the dog there too?
The homie
Yeah, he's
Gurgi
there. Gurgi.
steps up. He's like, Gurgi's here to save the dog. And he decides that he's going to jump into the cauldron himself and
And he
destroy
does.
everything. He does that. The whole army collapses.
Hey, yo, fam, I got to stop you because I got a question there. I was a little bit distracted by how unawesome this movie was that I kind of lost track of that scene. Did he consciously
He
Consent-
obviously.
consently
Yes.
knew what he was doing?
Because
or
he
was
No,
he
Taran
just
didn't
like,
push him
"Arr."
in.
No.
Because the monsters were gonna kill them.
What I'm trying to say is this.
He didn't fall in.
Did he just like, oh, somebody needs to go in? Oh, I'll go in.
Well, he was there.
Kind of.
He was there when the witches were explaining what the cauldron can do, and if you jump in, then you know they'll die.
So he was like, "Ooh, that's rough." But then, and I think that's why I'm bothered by it, is that he was like totally not about it,
Yeah.
and then was like, "Oh no, I'm totally about it."
Oh, Gurgi's gotta do what a Gurgi's gotta do.
Done.
I hate it so much. You need to be a voice actor, babe.
So Gurgi hops in the cauldron. That destroys the undead army
Immediately.
immediately, and then also like the Horned King is like getting sucked into the
Yeah, because the
into the
green
cauldron.
green mist is fast. It's like wind.
the fast mists.
What?
The green mist is fast. I thought it was pulling him in because it was he was evil.
He's very, very fast.
I thought they were pulling him because he was just like he was evil and it was evil, so he was pulling him in. You think it was pulling him in because it was fast mist?
Yeah, he was sucking them in.
Andre, tell us why they pulled him in, because I don't know.
So I think
That was my interpretation.
I think before it actually starts sucking him in, the Horned King and Taran have like a little tete-a-tete or whatever. It says that
The tete-a-tete.
Taran, you've interfered for the last time, you small child.
Does it really say you small child?
No, I threw that.
Oh.
So the Horned King tosses Taran towards the cauldron to like suck him into it, but then Taran like pulls a runaround or whatever, and then
He matrixizes.
yeah, the cauldron just pulls the Horned King in because he's more evil than Taran, I guess, and it like implodes him. It was truly disgusting.
That was disgusting.
It was awful. I did not like watching it.
It was gross.
It
He
literally
melted.
it pulled apart his body.
Mm-hmm. It was
Like
it was
down
crazy.
to organs and things.
It says right
like,
here, it consumes the Horned King in a tunnel of fire and blood, killing him and destroying the castle. Well, yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, it definitely sucked the whole castle down too.
Yeah. So this cauldron ain't no joke. Thanks, Gurgi.
I know.
So
I wish I liked Gurgi more to care that he died.
yeah, right? Like, well, no, Gurgi, don't do it. Gurgi, no. Oh, no. So that happens. The conflict is over.
The castle is gone,
The
but
castle's
somehow
gone.
everyone's still alive.
Yes.
Gotta love that.
The three witches come back because they still want the cauldron, even though it doesn't do anything now. It is rendered inert from Gurgi's sacrifice.
They still want it.
Well, you know they have all those other cauldrons. They have like a cauldron problem.
So then
Cauldron collection.
Taran, when he sees the three witches there, he's like, "Three witches, please bring back this annoying creature, Gurgi.
Give me my Gurgi
we,
back."
We miss him." And so they use the powers of themselves and the cauldron, I guess, to bring back Gurgi, right?
So tell me, did the sword do anything?
It says Taran has finally realizes Gurgi's true friendship. He persuades them to revive the Wild Thing in exchange for the cauldron, forcing him to give up his magical sword permanently.
Okay, so did the sword do anything at any point?
The sword was doing stuff when they were initially escaping from the castle, because he was like fighting off the henchmen.
So he could have just used a normal sword.
I mean, I guess it worked better than a normal sword. It had like magical properties. It was like zapping them and stuff, and he was like destroying stuff really easily with it.
Yeah, he could.
It was like He-Man's sword.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I forgot to mention this to you guys, but apparently this movie didn't do well in the States, but it did do well in like France and Japan, and it did so well in Japan that Hayao Miyazaki, the creator of The Legend of Zelda, he incorporated some of the fantastical elements of this story, and it's in Zelda. So I think the sword and kind of Link's like look, like his little elf hat and his like outfit, I think that all kind of comes from the Black Cauldron, which I learned today, and it blew my little mind.
That's actually hilarious.
It's nuts. Yes.
And it obviously works better there than it does here.
Oh, yeah.
And not that this couldn't have worked in other circumstances. I just think they bit off too much, more than they could chew in the story. And so when they parsed it, it literally became just, it was like PC,
incoherent through the whole. I mean, not incoherent. You could follow the story, but it was so like, bleh.
Yeah, you didn't really care about anything because it wasn't deep enough. And then but on the same turn, it was too deep, like stake wise, that it made it confusing.
Yeah,
like this death and destruction was so. It's not just like someone's not gonna fall in love and get married. Like, I mean, that's one thing, but like, no, the
decimation of a country or whatever.
Oh my god, not the whole world.
Yeah,
whole universe, bro.
The whole universe.
Ay, caramba.
Wait, what? Hang on.
Are you reading something?
I'm reading the very last sentence of this this synopsis. It says, after Gurgi comes back to life, Taran and Alonwi kiss. Says the four friends then journey back to Caer Dalben, where Dalben and Dolly, who's Dolly, watch them in a vision created by Henwen, and Dalben finally praises Taran for his heroism, though he prefers to be a pig boy.
Yeah, you didn't remember that at the end?
I didn't remember him calling a pig boy.
Yeah, he did.
I saw pig boy right here, and I was like, I have to read whatever this is about to say.
Pig boy.
So yeah,
pig boy.
So that's
I think that's the cat. Was that the cat's name? Remember how there was a cat right in the beginning?
Oh,
he like was
Figaro.
making like food.
Okay, yeah.
And he was talking to the cat, and he was
Okay.
like, "I like this cat more than that pig."
More than that pig boy.
Pig boy. Well, I can
So
just tell
weird.
you something before we move on. I enjoyed this podcast and recording it more than I enjoyed this movie.
Yes,
For sure.
Praise us.
Praise us. This was fun. You know, I enjoy our time together.
I do
Did I
too.
enjoy this movie? No. But did I enjoy this?
Recording this was fun. It was much funner than watching the movie, which we also did together, and that was cool. But
No, it was pretty bad. That was the first time we've watched a movie together, and I did not enjoy it. It wasn't your company.
No, it was definitely
It
the
was
movie.
just the movie.
that brought
My
us, that brought us
gosh.
down.
Anywho,
So yeah, that's the Black Cauldron, and it was not a hit.
Rotten Tomato
At all.
score.
ooh yeah, what did it get?
Okay, so on
Watch, I want to see it have like an audience score of like 87% or something.
I'll be so pissed.
No, I mean, I'm ready for this business.
Okay, what is it?
no, on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie has a
90%.
has a an amazing score of 55%.
Okay, what's the audience?
The audience score
Yeah, but
is
what did Bedtime Story have? Like 30 or something?
I think Bedtime Stories had like a 60 or something.
No,
Okay,
yeah.
I thought that one was really bad.
Or maybe it was like 45 or something like that.
Oh, I have the reviews here. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
The audience score is 48%. So there's that. But yes,
So
if
not
you have
good.
some reviews, let's do them.
So hold on. IMDb, it has a 6.4 out of 10. You said 55% on Rotten Tomatoes.
yeah.
Metacritic has it at 59%, and apparently the Google users, it gives you that too. It says 88% of people
yeah,
liked this
Google
movie.
users are dumb.
So
Well,
what is that? Just a thumbs up or a thumbs
No.
down?
I think that
Yeah,
this movie, after its release, has found some fans. Like I had seen it before this viewing, a long time ago, and I remembered it fondly, but I couldn't have told you any plot details before we watched it this time or anything like that. So I think people had found it and watched it. Oh, actually, this movie it did so poorly that after it came out, it didn't come out on home video for another 10 years. Like it didn't come out until like 1995 on VHS, and it came
That's
out in 85.
fantastic. Thank you. No, we will not. We will not be giving this to the public.
Oh wait, it says it released on VHS in the United Kingdom in 97 and the United States in 98. Part of the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection. So I think that when it came out on home video and people got to watch it at home and not have to pay for it up front at the movie theater and stuff like that, I think that's when, some fans were created.
Okay, I need to read this.
Yes, please.
Okay, so this I don't even know where I got this. I looked up reviews for this movie, and the critic reviews are kind of all over the place. Like this one gave it a 4 out of 5, saying perhaps the spookiest animated feature in the Disney's collection, The Black Cauldron, may frighten even fans of Goosebumps and other youthful horror videos, which I agree.
Straight up.
But it gave it a 4 out of 5. This one 2 out of 5, possibly the worst animated feature the House of Mouse has produced, but certainly is stumbling around the darker recesses of the Disney vault.
Yeah.
But then like this dude, Garvey Neal, no, not Garvey. Bryson G wrote, honestly, this movie is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
After researching the backdrop and bad events that happened during the production of this film, I appreciate the symbolism and the fantastic, smooth, well put together movie that we see before us.
Yeah, but that's after you researched it, bro.
Nah, bro, it was bad.
I mean, yeah, some reviewers did give it good scores. Roger Ebert liked it, and who is this? Charles Solomon of the LA Times said it had splendid visuals.
And it was rip-roaring
Yeah,
fun.
But most people were like, oof, this is not as good as the last couple Disney movies we've seen.
No.
You know?
Nope,
Not
and
good.
nope.
In fact, let's review it. So we already know it's a flop. They lost money, so we don't really need to talk about how much money it made because it didn't make any.
I mean, it definitely didn't make much. Let's see. It had a proposed budget of $44 million. So it was the most expensive animated film ever made at the time. And it grossed a grand total of $21.3 million domestically in the U.S. So it was a huge, huge loss for Disney. And I think worldwide it made a little bit more money. I don't have the numbers on that right now. But not enough to recoup the full $44 million, unfortunately. Oh, also, the Care Bears movie, which came out the same year, beat it by like $1 million, which Disney was very insulted by. The Care Bears beat us, really? Oof.
Well, maybe you should have had like a sparklier disposition, because I don't know what to tell you.
So yeah, you want to give your rating?
Yeah, Luis, you go first. I need to know.
0.
0.
You can't give it a 0.
Hard. He could give it a 0.
Oh, I could give it a 0.
He gave a 10 not too long ago. We can give it
0
now.
This was the most awful movie I've ever seen that Disney has produced.
Dang, Louis said it.
0.
I'm gonna give it.
Nah. As a matter of fact, it owes me 10 points.
Negative 10.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. It's a 30% movie, in my opinion. It makes what's the one with the fishy and they're singing under the water?
The fishy and they're singing.
The
Sword and the
Little
Stone.
Mermaid?
It makes that movie look so good.
The Little Mermaid. The Sword and the Stone's great.
It makes the Sword and the Stone look so great. I want to watch it again.
I'm remembering that one fondly still. Yeah, I'm gonna give this movie. You just gave it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Why did you give it an extra
4 out of 10. I will give it one more point than you, purely because its story at least the story makes me think that there's a lot buried underneath the surface, and that I should go read the book. So
yeah,
at the
but
very
was
least,
the movie good?
So at the very least, it exposed me to something that might be good out there. But no, a 4 out of 10 is a terrible elf, a terrible F. You know, you really
elf.
a terrible elf. Oh man, Just the worst elf.
You mean creature?
Yes. Gurgi. This movie gets a Gurgi out of 10. Gurgi. Yeah, it's no good.
Oh no, I meant actual creature from Harry Potter. A terrible elf.
Creature.
Okay, so here's the deal. Here's my score. 3. I'm gonna give it a 3 too.
Yes.
But I agree with Andre that I do like the more whimsical worlds.
Yeah.
I like the world they're trying to create, even though I do feel like it's a Lord of the Rings semi ripoff.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that's just because it's badly done. You know?
Yeah,
like
I think that's the main reason.
so that makes me kind of interested in reading the books. A little bit. But that doesn't mean the
A
movie's
little bit.
good.
Also, apparently, they acquired the rights to this franchise, the Chronicles of Perdian or whatever, Perdane, because the Lord of the Rings got super popular again in the 70s. So in like the 71, 72, Lord of the Rings was like all the rage. Everybody was reading it again, and I think they were producing those like animated movies about the Lord of the Rings. So they acquired these specifically based on the success of the Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
So that doesn't surprise me at all that it.
Well, and
definitely
Dungeons
feels
and
like
Dragons
that.
apparently was big during that
Mhm.
time.
Yep.
And, you know, with all of that, it's very medieval, swords, stones, stuff going on.
Sorcery, yeah.
You know, bearded men doing witchy things.
Yeah.
It makes sense as to why they did it, but did they do it well? No.
No. They
Do I
really
like the idea behind it? Yes.
didn't. Yeah.
And when you really think about it, with how dark they were going with the whole cauldron idea, there's a lot of stuff they could have done with it.
Mhm.
But I think that them being Disney, they were really biting off more than they could chew. Like, it's too dark of a story for
Yeah.
them.
It was way too dark.
Like, I think if, like, Netflix did it, like, as an redid it as an animated feature, then maybe it could be really cool because they could make it as dark as they freaking want to.
Right, and it could have that, like, pretense about it. When you go into a Disney movie, especially in, like, 1985, you're like, this is going to be fun. We're going to have some fun
For
in this
sure.
movie. It's going to be lighthearted. There's
I
going
was
to be
excited it
there's
was
going to
an
be an
80s
animal
movie.
that
If I
talks.
would have taken my kid to that, I would have been pissed off.
Right.
Excuse my language. I would have been mad.
Yeah, dude.
You know, because that is not something you want to take your kid to in the dark.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But please give them the info about how this may or may not be turned into a, I don't know, live action.
Oh, that's
No.
right.
Not happy about
So
it.
Disney
I don't
has
need it.
Disney has reacquired the rights to the Chronicles of Prydain. Yes, the Black Cauldron live action remake. There is talks to reopen this door, and I guess
No.
that it could be okay. You know, I mean,
Maybe. But no more live actions
What
on
if they made it
crappy
like
material.
a horror movie?
That'd be
Well-
cool, like a horror side to it.
Yeah,
Disney
I mean,
horror.
the fact that it was already like truly a scary movie. It was terrifying. If I was a kid watching this movie, I would have been scared
It's
out
not
of
for
my.
kids.
That's why
But-
Netflix would be the perfect company. To
Yeah,
do
well, I mean, it would be Disney Plus, obviously.
it. Oh yeah.
right?
yeah.
So I mean,
So it's not gonna be horrific.
it probably wouldn't be horrific, but they could definitely, you know,
They could do that if they
go
wanted to.
darker and make that apparent in the trailer, and also make it more fun than this was. As long as they're not following the exact same script as the 1985 animated Black Cauldron, I think they could probably do something okay with it. If they maybe tone it down to just one of the books, or maybe open up the scope of it a little bit to not have to rely on the books as much as they did
Yeah.
before, and
Yeah.
if they maybe rename a couple
Then
characters.
they put that song. They put that song in it. Something wicked this way comes from Harry Potter.
yeah.
All right. You could tell what's on Michelle's mind
Double,
tonight.
double boiling trouble.
You're going to be in boiling trouble right now if you don't stop it.
Okay.
Trying to get herself over a cauldron somehow.
Oh, and she was mixing her own head as the cauldron,
Yeah.
just so you know. Her head is the cauldron right now.
Close enough.
Oh
Stir
my
it up,
God.
baby.
Stir it up.
So I guess we can maybe look forward to seeing some more Black Cauldron in our Disney futures. But
I didn't know going. But go ahead.
for now, next time for us, we will be doing the animated movie from the early 2000s. I don't have an exact year. Treasure Planet.
Planet of Treasure.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Remember when I kept calling Atlantis Treasure Planet a couple moons ago? Oops.
So Treasure Planet, which came out in 2002, it's live action, or not live action. It's animated.
It's actiony, and it was live at one time on the animation
It gets
board.
confused with Atlantis in my head.
This
and Emily's
is
head.
Space v. Water.
This is the
Dude.
space one, right?
Yes, this is the space one. Yes, it's space.
It's the one
it's
that has
pirates.
the flubber, the pink flubber thing.
Yes, you remember.
What?
Oh, you'll see when we watch it. But this is the last movie that we're gonna do before Disney Plus arrives, and then I feel like our show is gonna be very Disney Plus centric.
Sorry about it.
I mean,
and then
just
it's gonna get real interesting.
but that's just convenient for us and for you guys, because if we're watching a movie that's readily available to all Disney fans, then that makes it easier.
And
You don't have
here's
to-
the
you don't have
thing,
to
though,
dive into the vault to watch
also
the Black
at this
Cauldron like we
point,
did.
We're gonna be real with you, listeners. We've watched like all the good movies.
We don't watch all the good ones, but we've hit a lot
of good
we hit
ones.
we've hit a lot of the
So
highs.
if you have any suggestions, like please hit us up with those suggestions. But
yes.
as Andre said, when Disney Plus gets released, we're gonna be doing a cool thing that we'll announce on the next episode.
But lots of cool things, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Lots of
going to
cool
be
things,
so
but
many.
we're gonna have a theme.
So many options.
theme.
Yes, we'll have more options, and the options will be available to you to view as well, which I'm excited about
I'm excited about it too.
personally.
Cheetah girl, cheetah girl.
Although honestly, I'm just gonna be watching The Mandalorian over and over.
Yeah.
No,
again.
you're just going to be watching Cheetah Sisters.
Cheetah, yeah.
Cheetah
Cause
Girls.
we
I'll
are
throw-
sisters.
You know, I'll watch The Mandalorian
We
twice,
stand
and then I'll throw in the
together.
Cheetah Girls, and then I'll do another Mandalorian.
What's the Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian is the new Star Wars show. that's
Remember the
coming
one
out.
with Pedro?
It's got Pedro Pascal, and it's got Gina Carano, and it's got Giancarlo
Melinda May.
Esposito.
So
Yeah, Melinda May. Mm-hmm.
Whatever her real
Cheetah
name is.
Cats?
Yep.
That's not Disney.
Cheetah
It is.
girls,
Cheetah Girls
sisters.
is definitely
Am I thinking about
Disney.
the-
You're thinking of the
Not actual cats.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes, I am.
Josie and the Pussycats, guitars and tails for heads.
Okay, my favorite part is that you know what he was talking about.
Yeah,
Like you immediately knew. That's
it's from
Cartoon Network.
Yeah, Cartoon Network, dog. Boomerang. Old cartoons.
You-
Anyway,
Y'all don't know nothing about nothing.
Ain't nobody like me except me. Moving
on.
Nobody like me except me.
Shut up.
You're all right. That's been it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to our complete teardown of the Black Cauldron. We hope you enjoyed it. You know, feel free to listen to this and not watch the movie. Honestly, I think that's the best way to go. You know, watch a clip on YouTube and then and then listen to this podcast. But for now, if you want to keep up in touch with us, we are on the internet. We are at the Walt Vault Pod on social media. You can email us at contact@thewaltvaultpod.com. You can subscribe on any podcast platform out there. And if there's one that you can't subscribe on, let me know. I'll throw us up there too. If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment down below. You can hit subscribe. You can hit the like button. Do all of that. All of those shares and helps us, you know, get to more Disney eyes and ears out there. So any help you can provide. And if you want to help even more, you can sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/thewaltvault, where we provide extra content for you at a small additional price. So yeah, go there. That helps keeps the lights on here in the vault, which is very dark, as I've said before.
It actually is very dark in here
It's-
today. You're in a dark corner.
It's dimly lit, okay? Candles. No. All right. You guys, that's been it. That's been it for this week.
From the Cauldron.
We'll see you next time for some Treasure Planet goodness. The vault is now closed.